into this segment. Britton Fields here, who is the lead pastor of St. Paul's United Methodist Church, and we're talking about healing. And I heard ahead of time what your subject matter was going to be, and I thought, okay, well, who needs to heal? And then if you stand back and you turn on the news, or you read a newspaper, or you go on the internet, everybody needs to heal about something. Something. And it seems like we need some sort of healing or some sort of means of healing our rifts. Right. As much now as we ever have. Right. Is this what you're talking about?
So when I think about healing, well, first let me ask you this, because I'm a pastor. When I say healing, and you think about healing in the church, what do you think of?
I think that you are advocating us to pray, and that will heal us.
Right? Okay. Sometimes.
But I feel like it takes more than that.
Correct. So the challenge is how often have you prayed? And I'm sure people watching have prayed, and then it didn't work out the way that you hoped for.
I don't know if it did or it didn't, or if I just perceived it as not working out that way.
But healing, I do agree with you. Healing is something that we all kind of long for, we all need. And so when let me just define the word healing. I think that's helpful. First, healing is a return to something, like something's missing, something's lost. There's this hurt, deficiency in us. We want to get back to something. Does that make sense? So it's a return to our health. And when I think about health, I think about it's not just like a one-off thing or just a certain part of us. It's all of us. It's holistic.
Okay.
So from a theological or pastoral perspective, I'd say mind, body, spirit.
Okay.
So mind, our mental health, our emotional health, our bodies, our physical bodies, and then our spirits, so spiritual health. So it's all three of those things, and they all work together. Okay. And so what we're hoping for is wholeness. We want to be made whole. We want to be made complete.
Okay.
So healing, yes.
And that's
you got
healing.
Questions, I can tell.
I do have questions. Because it seems to be like it starts with the individual, and then it moves out to the neighborhood, and then to the community, and maybe even to the entire nation and the world.
You can have healing. Yeah, you shouldn't just think of it as an individual. It's individual, but it can be communal as well.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Which seems to me like what we really need right now.
And it seems impossible. Almost like there's a part of me that's like this.
But it's happened before, hasn't it?
It has happened before. There are times of coming together communally. You've seen. I mean, I'm trying to think. Okay, like 9/11, there was a coming together, at least in our nation. Now, when it comes to the world, not so much, right? That created all kinds of division. So there's a lot of tension that we live in, but it is possible.
It's true, and we saw it locally after the tornado and the different tornadoes that we have seen in this area. We have seen people who felt driven to help their fellow man and to heal themselves and their communities.
And how often does like helping someone else heal you?
Every time.
Every time,
Every time.
Yes. Yes, okay, so there's some fallacies or things that I think can prevent us from healing. These are things that we will prop up in our world sometimes, and it can, so I want to go through those, if that'd be helpful. Because I want to be practical too, right? Like I can live in the theological world forever. Okay, compartmentalizing. When we compartmentalize our health, so, hey, I'm sick, so I need to go to the doctor, I got an ache or pain here, I'm going to go see a doctor. That's a good thing.
Right.
But the truth is like, if we're like really stressed, we're more likely to be sick. So thinking about not just compartmentalizing, but like it's a whole.
Right.
Working on all of those pieces together.
Okay.
So maybe you attack the stress and the physical and all that together. So
we are one organism made up of many, many organisms, and they all have to work together.
Yeah. So I tell people to expand their network of care. Get a spiritual person. Get a counselor. Get have a good doctor, dentist, all these people you need. Expand your care. Okay, that's the one. It may not be like it used to be.
Yeah.
So the healing that may occur, it may not be a return to exactly the way you wanted it.
Yeah.
It actually may involve a letting go of something. That can be healing.
Change is hard for people, isn't it?
It is hard.
Yeah. And that's what you're talking about.
But letting go of that, like there's this release that can happen. It can be healing. Timing. Timing's a big one.
Okay.
Because sometimes we want to find healing and it just takes longer. So I think about like just the rehab if you have surgery, just the pain and anguish in that.
Oh, that's beautiful.
But then the loss of, well, I can't even do the things that I used to do because I had the surgery, so I don't get around quite like I used to, and that's a challenge. So the timing. And then here's the big one.
Okay.
This is the hardest one I think for us as a people. It's lack of empathy.
Oh,
we think we know.
Right.
See, we think we know someone else's story, and we normalize our story to be someone else's. And so we'll say, oh, if you just do this, it'll be fine. And having empathy for people is so helpful.
So how do I develop empathy for someone if I don't feel, if I see somebody and they make me angry,
sure,
and I don't want to have empathy for them, how do I force myself to do that? Because I think that's key.
You can't force it. You cannot. You cannot force it, but you just have to, I think you have to learn to set your, whatever it is that you have down and just listen. Here's how I would describe it.
Yes.
Go in without an agenda.
Okay.
You truly want what's best for someone else.
I love
without
that.
changing that.
I love that.
That can bring healing. There you go.
Britton, you've healed a lot of people,
sure,
I think, just by watching. I feel better already.
I do too, yeah. Thank you.
If you want to see more of this, actually, you can see it every Sunday morning, broadcast on television.
We're talking about healing.
I bet you are.
We are.
And I bet you're going to heal some people. Or just go to St. Paul's United Methodist Church on 26th Street. You guys do so much for the community. The group that I'm so involved with, Building Bridges, you open the door for us every Thursday night, and we really, really appreciate that.
Love that.
Yeah. We heal a lot of people doing that. Britton, thanks.
Awesome.